Now, imagine, use your imagination for a moment, the Israelis were enraged, they were furious, they were driven mad by this little girl, Ahed Tamimi, who smacks an Israeli soldier. How dare you smack an Übermenschen? How dare the Untermenschen, the subhuman, smack an Übermenschen, an Israeli soldier? And there were all these serious debates on Israeli TV whether the soldier was showing honor or whether the soldier was showing cowardice by not reacting to the girl. Imagine if the Palestinians adopted the strategy, every woman should smack a soldier. Smack a soldier today. Just like we have the Me Too movement, let them have a Me Too. I smacked a soldier today. The Israelis would go mad. They would go mad. And it has an opportunity, a possibility. Now that's according to Gandhi, by the way. One of the things he says is, if a woman is being raped and the woman, to resist the rapist, she smacks him, she scratches him, she pummels him. Gandhi says, in my view, that's not violence. That's a person trying to summon the moral courage to die with dignity. He says, I won't call that violence. He said, when you have such a vast disproportion in power between the oppressor and the oppressed, when the oppressed engages in some kinds of what you might call symbolic resistance, armed, he said, in my book, that's not violence. So he said in 1939, the German Wehrmacht, the army, the Luftwaffe, it invades Poland. Poland comes out with a few tanks, a few artillery pieces to resist the German army and Air Force. Gandhi said, that's not violence. That analogy is exactly with the Palestinians. A few token rockets, or a young woman smacking a soldier who's been occupying, humiliating, degrading, destroying the lives of people for 50 years, 5 decades, and she doesn't have the right to smack this person who invades her home, kills her cousin. No, you have that right. Even not, leave aside international law, even the apostle of nonviolence, Mahatma Gandhi, said, you have that right. I have no doubt, none whatsoever, that if he were alive today, and he was, as you might know, a strong proponent of what he called back then Arab rights in Palestine. It wasn't yet Palestinian rights, Arab rights in Palestine. And he was very emphatic. In 1936, as you know, there was the Arab uprising against the British occupation of Palestine. And Gandhi was asked about it. And he said, look, I wish they would adopt the tactic of nonviolence. I wish. But he said, according to the canons, C-A-N-O-N-S, according to the canons of right and wrong, they have the right to use armed force. In other words, according to current legality and morality, people under occupation have the right. He says, I wish they would choose my strategy, but they aren't under a legal obligation to not resist. The people of Gaza, they are under a legal obligation to just lay down and die. A blockade which is at the point of making the place unlivable. Unlivable. The whole international community knows it. Israel itself says it. And they're supposed to lay down and die? They don't have the right to resist? No, that makes no sense to me.